In the ancient times, when the sun's fiery breath baked the savanna into a canvas of gold, the lion and the goat lived side by side, almost as neighbors. A delicate truce, as fragile and thin as a spider's web, held them in a careful balance. The lions, majestic and powerful, hunted the striped zebra, while the goats, nimble and content, grazed upon the sweet, tender grass. This was the way of things, a rhythm set by the land itself. But then a great hunger fell upon the savanna. The life-giving rains vanished without a trace, and the earth, parched and thirsty, cracked open like an old clay pot left too long in the sun. The vast herds of zebra, their stripes blurring into a mirage, fled the barren plains, chasing the distant promise of storms on the horizon. The lions, once the proud rulers of this domain, grew gaunt and thin. Their ribs began to show, stark and skeletal, like the branches of a baobab tree in the heart of the dry season. The leader of the lion pride was a lioness named Anansi. She was known not just for her strength, but for her cunning mind. As the hunger gnawed at her belly, her gaze began to shift. She started to watch the plump, unsuspecting goats with new, dangerous eyes. The fragile peace was about to be broken. One evening, as the sun bled its final colors across the sky, a goat vanished at dusk. Silence followed. Then, as the first rays of dawn painted the east, another disappeared. A cold and sharp fear, like a sliver of ice, crept into the hearts of the goat herd. They huddled together, their bleats filled with anxiety, their eyes wide with terror. The wisest among them, an old male named Koko, saw the shadow of doom approaching. His beard was as white as the foam on a rushing river, and his eyes held the knowledge of many seasons. He knew they could not simply wait to be devoured one by one. With a heavy heart, he called a secret meeting under the cover of the acacia thorns, his voice a low, urgent whisper against the dry wind. The time for grazing was over. The time for a desperate plan had begun. What could the goats possibly do against the might of the lions? Koko looked at his trembling herd, a flicker of defiance in his ancient eyes. He had an idea. A risky, daring plan that might just be their only hope for survival. He cleared his throat, ready to share the gamble that could either save them all or lead to their swift demise. The fate of the entire herd rested on his next words. What was Koko's plan?